Hey everyone, on Monday I'm going to be going down to Gamey and checking out this new light gun that they've got that works with modern TVs. You don't need a PC, you don't need anything. It is on Kickstarter at the moment. I reached out to them and they've agreed to let me come in and have a go on this gun and speak with the development team and see what they think. Now there are 4 games for this, well up to 4 games within this Kickstarter. You can get Time Crisis 1, Point Blank, Still Gunner, and Still Gunner 2. In terms of the design, you've got the black one and the blue one. The blue one's for global, black one is for the Japanese. And as you can see here, you've got different tiers of what you can get. But essentially, you've got the base tier with the gun and the console. This essentially just plugs into your TV via HDMI. It's really cool. You can get it with a pedal as well. I'm really excited and really hopeful that this is going to be good. If you have any interest in it, link in the description below. Go check it out. This isn't a sponsored video. I just really like light gun games, and I'm hoping you too. And check it out. Maybe it'll be of good use to you. And if you have any questions that you would like me to ask the development team, feel free to reach out to me in Discord or over on Twitter. Send me a DM or tag me, and I'll get those questions asked and hopefully get the answers you guys want. Right, that's it. On with the video. Hey everyone. So this React video is regarding the whole visa situation, and I've been asked by a number of people now as of this morning to react to this video because it was something that Asmongold made early hours today, at least from the UK. It's obviously not for him, but it's an important topic, and people clearly have felt oddly about this one and wanted me to react. So here we are reacting to this. So here I am reacting to Asmongold. I think for the first time, everyone should know about this. This is obviously related to the whole, Visa and MasterCard situation and how they are now trying to, well, they are being bullied into infringing our consumer rights and how we spend our money. And obviously, there's a activist group out there who are basically a minority trying to air their concerns and basically dictate what we can. And obviously, I know people just are looking at this from the porn side of things, but there is a much bigger picture here. And this can, if allowed to continue, and if our voices aren't heard, this can actually escalate very quickly. So I've been asked to react to this a number of times today. And obviously, I'm going to wait my usual 24 or 48 hours before I post this. So, that's my usual thing. But here it is anyway. So I hope you enjoy it.
Hi guys, it's me again, and today we're going to talk about the parasite that is payment processors, primarily Visa and MasterCard, in between their very busy schedule of scamming random financially illiterate people into contracts with credit cards that have 30% interest. They've somehow also managed to fuck up the internet at the same time. So recently there's been a group called Collective Shout, which is, I know this might surprise you, a militant group of obnoxious Karens from, I believe, Australia, but let's be honest, it's going to be all over the world, that have...
And essentially, this group, Collective Shout, is trying to dictate, just like how the whole movement with the gaming, you know, DEI movement started, where, people were afraid to put a white person as a main protagonist or a male as a main protagonist. This now has escalated in a different way. They've seen that they're not going to win that battle. So now they've decided that they're going to create whatever this Collective Shout group is. Well, we know what they are, but this activist group. And they've decided now to try and attack from a different angle by going after Visa and MasterCard, bullying them into basically telling these big corporations like Valve that we won't allow you to sell these games. We can't be on your platform if you're going to sell these type of games. And in particular, they're talking about the adult orientated games, the ones with incest and stuff like that, which I know is not great in itself. But at the end of the day, Visa and MasterCard should not have the right to dictate how anyone spends their money. And regardless of how you feel about those games or anything else, your fundamental freedom is what's at stake here. So that's what they're talking about, what he's talking about here. Let's continue and see where it goes.
gotten together to bully and attack Visa and MasterCard into refusing service with Steam and pressuring Steam to remove certain games off of Steam because these games hurt their feelings. Oh no, it's an incest game. Oh no, it's a fucking not safe for work game. It's a porn game. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? The thing is that, and this is the big issue that I have, I'm very agitated about this because I see where this is going. It begins with the incest games and it ends with whatever the fuck they want.
And that's the problem there, right? Now I'm gonna just he said a lot there. Now, earlier today, it's actually amusing. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine and how NC Soft apparently are looking to make another Souls game using their villain from Blade and Soul, who is a very, very attractive female character, as the main protagonist for that game. Now, obviously, if you've been following my content, I'm not really a Souls fan, and I'm kind of sick of seeing all all these games basically be a Souls type game. I just want a hack and slash that I can enjoy, but they're all Souls games. And so I made a tweet saying, I'm kind of sick of this and stop. But, this is essentially what he's referring to. Like, my friend turned around and told me, you don't have to play that. And, he's not wrong, right? And so the same principle applies here. Those games may exist and they have their audience, but this isn't something real. It's not something, tangible. It's a video game. It's pixels. It's not like they're going to do anything to a pixelated character, right? It's just a game on a screen. Now, I mean, if they decide to stick their wiener into the power socket, well, that's on them. But at the end of the day, it's just a video game. But remember at the beginning of the video, I said, this isn't just about the whole adult-orientated games. And he said it there, it will give them the right to do whatever they want. So games like Call of Duty and stuff like that will eventually be removed because you can't buy them off Valve. So the once greatest PC launcher won't be hosting these games anymore. Because they're going to say it incites people to go to schools and start shooting people. And that it's wrong and you can't have it. Where does it actually stop? Is Hello Kitty going to be where we're at in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, and everyone's going to be video gaming on Hello Kitty? Like, where does this stop? Essentially, this is what he's referring to when he said it'll allow them to do anything they want.
And so if anybody remembers back in the 2000s, if anybody 3,000 years ago, whenever they were talking about how Grand Theft Auto is causing school shootings and these video games are causing this stuff, what's to stop these disgusting fucking annoying Karens from being able to bully these processors into effectively not allowing us to play the video games that we want, not allowing us to consume the content that we want, and fundamentally, at a very, very basic level, limiting our freedom of expression through effectively looking at the chain, finding the weakest link in the chain, and taking as much advantage of it as possible. And I want to say another thing. Collective Shout and every other Karen Incorporated group, every other bullshit advocacy group that's trying to bully these payment processors, they are the symptom and they are not the disease. Because
he's 100% right here, right? He's not saying anything wrong here. And this is what I meant. He kind of followed through with what I was saying and what I was getting at. It won't just stop here. It's going to go to everything from GTA to Call of Duty to Battlefield. Anything that has violence. I mean, the game like Bully that's apparently being remastered at the moment. Games like that won't be allowed to exist. The only games that you're going to get that exist are like Gecko and Mario. And I mean, maybe even Mario, they might have a sense too because you're not controlling a female character. But, those, Hello Kitty. These are the type of games that you're basically going to be limited to. I know it sounds hyperbolic, but I'm looking at the worst case scenario here. And believe you and me, if these people get their way, that worst case scenario isn't going to be worst case scenario. And that is why, I'm assuming he's made this video and it's going to get a lot of traction. And I hope it, gets the attention it needs because this collective shout needs to be shout down. Pretty much, that's that. They don't have a right to dictate how I spend my money. Visa doesn't have a right I mean, even if it is their service, at the end of the day, these Visa and MasterCard collectively control the whole market. You know, there should be some form of regulators out there coming in and telling these people, you're okay charging these people 30% and racking up debts in their name and collecting all that money. You're happy to do that, but you're not going to be happy to let them spend the money the way they want. Where is our rights in this? Why is our freedoms and our rights to just spend our money being restricted by a bunch of people who clearly don't give a shit about anything or understand anything and just want to be, as he calls, a collective Karen who just wants to literally go out there and ruin everyone's day? They have no right to this at all. If they want their kids to be living in a secluded place, put them in a hazmat suit, lock them in their room with no PC and leave them there. No TV, no mobile phone, no PC. Leave them roaming around the house. Don't let them watch anything. Let them, you dictate how your own child lives, but not how everyone else lives. At the end of the day, a person can see what's right and wrong. Video games does not make you go and do stupid things. This is just a scapegoat. And these Karens, as he calls them, are using this as a scapegoat to get attention because they know that going after movies doesn't get you the attention. Going after media doesn't get you the attention. But do you know what does get you the attention? Going after video games. Because it is the biggest medium out there. And that is why they're targeting video games.
If you get rid of them, there's just going to be another one that replaces them that does the exact same fucking thing. The disease is the payment processors and the fact that they can act effectively as a cartel. They have total autonomy to deny service to anybody for any reason if they think that it will affect their brand. Well, why don't we go ahead and think about this in any other utility or any other service? Imagine if you can't get electricity because, oh, well, you use that electricity to go on websites that people disagree with or they don't like. And I have no problem with them denying service to something that is illegal, by the way. I think that's totally okay. But whenever these people want to create their own moral legality and then use these payment processors as a pseudo-government to enforce it as a pretty much monopoly across the entire internet, that's not a free market. That's a fucking cartel.
100%. And this is exactly what I was saying, right? This is exactly what I was saying. They are basically dictating and restricting our freedoms in how we spend our money, how we consume media, and what we do with that media. At the end of the day, it really shouldn't matter to anyone who puts a game up there or what medium of the game they put up there. If someone wants to buy it, they can buy it. At the end of the day, there's no reason for anyone to try and regulate that. Now, obviously, if it's illegal, that is different, but this isn't real people that it's happening to. No, real people are not being depicted in these, right? It's just the thing. It's just not happening. Now, don't get me wrong. I personally don't agree with incest. I don't personally agree with a number of those games that are there, but I don't care that they exist, right? Like I gave with the whole analogy with the NC Soft game, I just don't have to play and ignore it and move on and play the games that I want to play. In fact, in Valve's launcher, there is a toggle that you have to go in and manually switch on for adult-orientated games. Otherwise, it doesn't appear. So clearly, these Karens are so concerned, but why don't they go and check on their kids who are actually manually going in and changing those settings? Just remove their PC and live your own life. You don't need to dictate what my child can do or what they can play or what they can watch. That's my responsibility, not yours, not laws, and definitely not Visas and MasterCards.
And I think they need to be regulated. I definitely do. And I think that's the only way that this actually solves itself. Now, obviously, it's great if we had new payment processors come into the space. And I know that a lot of people talk about crypto as a solution to this. I understand that. I personally think that you need to have more regulations for financial stuff, but that's a different conversation. The one thing that I think we can all agree on is that the current situation is bad. And anyway, so the issue that we have right now is that these payment processors are able able to effectively limit our freedom of speech, limit our freedom of expression, tell us what we're allowed to see and what we're not allowed to see on the internet by denying service and refusing to do business with these different companies. Now, you might think that this is freedom of association, and to a certain degree, you'd be right.
Do you know how the UK is actually trying to get around this? And I know a lot of people in the US are really upset about this, but Pornhub, for example, where you can access it on your PlayStation or something like that, or on your mobile phone, they actually require you to scan your face on the camera so they can see your age. And if a kid's doing it, you don't get access and you're instantly denied. It's that simple. But that is in effect here in the UK. Maybe Valve should start doing the same thing. Right? Every time you want to access anything that is adult orientated or 18 and over, right? You need to scan your face to confirm your identity. Sure, there'll be those that work their way around it and find solutions, but at the end of the day, the average Joe will not. And that's a really simple solution for this problem. And then that's it. Everyone's happy.
But the problem is that it's not a free market. If it was a free market, you would have some companies that would be willing to do it and some companies that would not. But the issue is because Visa and MasterCard control such a large market share of payment processing market, what that causes is it causes people to be forced effectively into using them as a service. And in the same way that you guys know this, if you live in an area that only has maybe one power service, or you live in an area that only has one internet service, oftentimes that service is either, there are two outcomes, guys. It's either regulated or it's garbage. And sometimes it's both. But I can guarantee you one thing, it's certainly not good. And the fact is that I understand some people might be against regulation, but I've got to tell you, okay, if you're sitting on the internet using your smartphone complaining about regulation, you might as well just be a fish complaining about water. Everything is regulated. Your car is regulated, your phone is regulated, the battery in your phone is regulated, the data your phone receives is regulated. Everything in the world is regulated.
It is. I mean, he's not lying here. Everything is regulated. But in order to stop these activist groups from getting what they want and Visa and MasterCard from having the power of basically total autonomy of a monopoly, they need to be regulated. And why regulation doesn't exist is beyond me.
But we're somehow supposed to think that, oh, wow, these billion-dollar companies that, by the way, how the fuck does a credit card company make money? Oh, that's right, by scamming stupid people who don't understand math out of money, writing it off as a loss whenever they don't get the money back, and then being able to say that, oh, well, it's okay, we're not going to pay this off as a tax, because guess what? We didn't make any fucking money because we're signing contracts with massive interest rates to people that are financially illiterate. And so anyway, these companies exist as a parasite, okay? They are. They are a parasite. They steal money from people. They are awful. And anyway.
And this is why I say, like, often people say, I'm going to go under finance to get this and that. And I get it if it's like a car or something like that. You don't have the money to outright get it. But, spend within your means is something I always say. But if you can save up and just buy it with cash, do it. It'll be better. You'll be better off in the long run. Because these companies prey on the fact that you miss a payment so they can charge you that 30%. That's what they prey on. That's what they want you to do.
Now we have a situation that they are affecting our freedom of speech on the internet. They are affecting our freedom of expression on the internet wholesale. And it's only going to get worse because once these disgusting, fat, annoying, fucking, just Karens go and they realize, oh, it works one time, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to just say, oh, well, that's it. Well, I heard The View got canceled today. So after this, they're going to be fucking bored. So they're going to keep canceling and trying to bully these companies into doing even more things. And
that's the thing. Once they get the first win, that's it. If they get the first win, which it seems like they might have done with Valve, they are going to continue going and expanding. It's not going to stop. This is not going to end well, right? I know people are dismissing this. Oh, it's just because it's incest games and thing and they should have been off. You're not seeing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that your games that you actually enjoy, the medium that you enjoy, will no longer be the medium that you want. Games like Grand Theft Auto won't be a thing. Games like Call of Duty, Battlefield won't be a thing. Anything that has gun violence won't be a thing, right? anything that looks realistic that you can, fight against people or shoot real people won't be a thing, even if it is pixelated, pixel graphics and whatever. It doesn't matter. It won't be a thing. This is the bigger picture. Right now, it's just targeting the porn because that's easy. It's easy to rally people behind your back for that. But anyone that's rallying behind this is essentially being mugged of their human rights, of their, their freedom of rights. Because these people know that you would rally behind this stuff. So they target the one point they know that they can get your support. But once they've got your support, they don't care anymore if you change your mind. They just need to show them that look at the amount of support we've got. We've got like 10 million signatures for this. So if you don't do this, we're going to be piling even more pressure and taking it everywhere. The fact that 9,999,999 of those dropped out for not supporting Grand Theft Auto, it doesn't matter because they're just going to show that 10 million. Once you're on that list, you're on that list. People need to speak up about this.
There's another not safe for work website. Oh, well, now there's another one. Oh, well, they shouldn't have to support porn. Yeah, they fucking should. The same as your internet provider should. The same as your electricity provider should. The same as your water provider should. Can you imagine if they decide to turn off your fucking water or your electricity because you're going to a porn website that they don't like? It's ridiculous. And so I think that we need to have...
As hyperbolic as that sounds, the point he's trying to prove here is, where is the line? Where do you draw the line? Now, you may think what he's saying is completely ridiculous, but in the world that these people want, these collective shout, this isn't outside of the realm of how they want to control and dictate people. You already saw what BlackRock did to the gaming industry and how their influence seeping into the Western market and now the Eastern market. And you've got people from, the Eastern developers. I think the one from Dragon Quest who clearly turned around. I think it was the Visions of Mana one actually, who turned around and said, we didn't want to do this, but we were forced to do this. And though they didn't name drop BlackRock, you knew it was BlackRock. So this is the type of influence that these companies are having. They are forcing creative decisions to change. Right? And that's where it draws the line. There's no, it's unacceptable. And so what he's saying here might sound hyperbolic, but he's showing you the extreme that could happen. So by supporting this, you are essentially supporting losing your complete freedom of expression, of monetization, of everything. And is that what you really want?
Have a degree of accountability here. These companies enjoy a massive privilege in this market. They are effectively totally free to do whatever the fuck they want, and that is going to, unfortunately, negatively affect everybody else. And to be honest with you guys, how many of you know somebody who has credit card debt? It probably already has negatively affected people. And
so I had credit card debt, when I was younger. I got a credit card, it spiraled out of control, and it took me years to pay it off. In the end, it got to the point where I had to consolidate it. It's affected me and my credit rating really badly. But now I'm happy to say I'm debt-free and I will never get a credit card ever again. If I can't buy that thing outright in cash, I just won't buy it. If the next consoles are £1,000 each, if I can't buy them for £1,000 cash, or I'll need £2,000, I just won't buy it. It's that simple. I am not going under finance ever again. Never again. It's damaged my life and ruined my life in certain ways. I'm never doing it, and I recommend no one to ever get into debt with credit cards. It's just the most evil thing. And they prey on you to make a mistake. And the moment they do, they pounce like it's crazy. And I say this time and time again. Spend within your means. Don't go into debt.
So anyway, my video, what I'm talking about right now, is that I think we need to spread more awareness to this. More people need to know about this, because if it doesn't stop here, it's going to keep going into politics. It's going to keep going into different worldviews. It's going to go into religious stuff. It's going to go into every single aspect that you can possibly imagine, because these companies are gun shy and they're afraid of any degree of pushback. So the best thing that you can do, by the way, is if there's ever an instance where people are trying to push for a payment processor to not do something, these companies are afraid of pushback and they're afraid of backlash. That's what they're fundamentally afraid of. So if you want to make it to where they don't do these things and they don't make these changes, you have to be louder than these screeching banshee, harpy, siren Karens. That's what you have to do. You have to do that. And if you don't, they're going to be a lot louder than you are. And that's what's happened for the last 10 years. And luckily, now, especially in the past 3 years, the majority of the internet has basically said, hoes mad, too bad, and we've decided to ignore them. However, they have found, as I said, that one weak link, which is the payment processors. And again, they are awful, they're terrible, but they are a symptom and not the disease. We have to look at these payment processors, how much of a monopoly and everything that they control inside of any online transaction, inside of anything that you're doing in terms of money, and are they using that position in some way that is beneficial for everybody? Is this something that subverts people's expression, or is it something that hurts it? Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? And so I wanted to make this video, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it, because I feel like nobody else is saying anything.
He's right. I mean, I've only seen a few videos about this. I've been thinking about making a video on this for about a week or so. I've just not had the time, but I'm grateful for people to, for bringing this to my attention, and so I can react to it. And hopefully this will get some traction as well. But at the end of the day, this needs to be spoken about, and Visa, MasterCard need to hear that we are pushing back, because if we don't, it's not going to stop with these. And as he calls it, the weak link, MasterCard and Visa control pretty much everything that is in the financial sector. They have a hand in everything. Then it's not a regulated market. They control it. And so they have all the power to do whatever the hell they want. They can go to any company and say, if you do this, based on the feedback we're getting here and the pressure, we can't support you anymore. Can you imagine going into a store and they don't accept your Visa card because they can't work with them anymore? Considering today we've gone paperless everywhere, people don't, because there's shops that don't accept paper money. So what are you going to pay with? If they don't accept your card, even your debit card is Visa. So if you can't spend it, you're literally stuck in a situation where you can't buy anything. So it's actually a really big issue.
A lot of people might not understand this issue, or they might think, oh, well, it's just a rape game or something like that. Here's where they should draw the line. Is it illegal? If it's illegal, then yeah, of course they shouldn't give it service.
100%. And I said that earlier. If it's illegal, get it out of the way.
If it is, then yes, they should absolutely have to. It should be the exact same as an electricity company, as a phone company, as a internet company, as a water company, or anything else. The random, debanking and removal of payment processing for certain people for certain ideological means is a massive problem, and it helps no one. And so anyway, except for them, obviously, because it gives them the power to censor things and effectively tell people what they're allowed to see on the internet, and effectively subvert the will of the people by acting as a pseudo-government, because they're able to control this very small link in the pipeline.
It's exactly what I said, right? They're unregulated. They basically can do what they want. They have all the power. And that is what you don't want. These companies, this activist group, Collective Shout, cannot have all the power. We need to strip them of that. Right? And that's what he's trying to get through. And I 100% agree with him.
And so anyway, that's why I'm talking to you guys about this. I want everybody to be aware of this. I want people to see it. And I want you to be vigilant. And I can guarantee you, this is the worst thing. I can guarantee you that it's going to get worse. because people, I don't think that there is enough awareness about this yet. I don't think that there's enough people talking about this, and I don't think people really understand this issue because there are still people who are afraid to speak out about it because they don't want to be seen as defending incest games. I have no problem defending incest games. I think that's totally fine. You want to play a fucking anime incest game on Steam? Go ahead. That's okay. Nobody's getting hurt because guess what? It's not real. Imagine that. A video game doesn't hurt real people and it doesn't actually exist.
And like I said, I might not agree with the topic, but I agree with him on this one. It's not real. I don't care how people want to frame this or how people want to deal with this. It ain't real. It's a video game. It's not hurting anyone. It may hurt some random person's feelings all the way in Australia, but the reality is it's not actually hurting anyone. No one is being hurt by this. It's a video game. There is no difference to this and me getting on Call of Duty and mowing down 100 soldiers. Right? There is no difference. Right? So if I turn around in Call of Duty and commit friendly fire, which is essentially treason, right? Should I be arrested for that? That's what this is. Yes, I understand the topics are uncomfortable. And this is why they've targeted this in the first place. They haven't targeted this because it's an easy topic. They've targeted it because they know people are going to be really, really sensitive about this and not want to speak out. And this is the way they're trying to tunnel it through. But what people need to do is get out there and say, I don't give a crap. At the end of the day, this has nothing to do with the incest game. It has nothing to do with the R game. It's got nothing to do with anything. What it has to do with is you removing my freedom of rights. The freedom of me spending how I want to spend my money or how I want to spend my time or what I want to see on the internet. It isn't hurting anyone. Targeting this was a calculated move because it's a difficult topic to talk about. They are abusing that and utilizing that for their own benefit. And this is what people don't understand. And so when he says he doesn't care if it's an incest game or an R game or anything else, I agree with him. None of that should matter. It's a video game. And the topic here that should be spoken about is how these companies are being disgusting about it. And these, Visa and MasterCard are being bullied into it and accepting it and enforcing what these parents are talking about and, bullying them into. But it's not going to stop here. So if people don't get off their asses and start talking about this, making videos, making content, posting tweets, so Visa and MasterCard can be aware, government regulations can be aware, it's only going to get worse. They've targeted this particular point in gaming because it's uncomfortable. No one wants to talk about incest. So it can kind of just pass through like it has done right now, and Valve has taken them off without any real complaint. And you got people supporting it because they knew you'd get the support. But the problem is, if they go to do the same thing for Grand Theft Auto 6 and they succeed, you're not going to be happy. But they've got your support, right? The fact that you turn around later and say they no longer have my support, it doesn't matter. They're just going to provide the data that shows that you gave them their support. Stop it. Don't fall for their games.
So why is it that it's being regulated, and why is it that people are being told what they can and can't see, especially through this third party that shouldn't even be making these decisions to begin with? You want to talk about the brand for Visa or MasterCard? The only time I fucking hear about these companies is whenever they're being called into Congress to explain why they're trying to extort some mother of four out of $250,000 because of compounding interest and debt. It's outrageous. They're disgusting parasites, and I hope more people realize it, and we can actually push and have a degree of regulation and control on these people because they exist effectively. Again, guys, this is not a free market. Please do not say it's a free market. It is absolutely not a free market.
It is not. Because the moment it became a free market and these two came into power, they made it not a free market because being a free market works against them. So the moment they came in and they now have that power, they are going to do everything in their power, or have been doing everything in their power, to make sure it's not a free market.
The first thing that people who have control of a free market do, or have a majority share of a free market do, is they make sure that it's not free. And that's exactly what they've been doing, and that's exactly the problem. It's the fact that there are not a lot of other competitors. They do effectively control the entire market, and they can effectively use that to force their will onto everybody else. And that's exactly what's happened. So yes, Collective Shout is an annoying bunch of obnoxious, stupid Karens that nobody likes, probably not even themselves. That's why they're spending all day doing this. But, again, if you get rid of them, this is going to happen again. The real problem is the payment processors and the lack of regulation and accountability for what they're doing. So I don't really like this, oh, we can have their cake, you can have your cake and eat it too. Where, oh, well, these people, they don't get regulated at all, but they can regulate everybody else and decide whatever, whatever they accept and whatever they don't accept. This is not something as simple as, oh, well, baking a cake or whatever.
Essentially, he's saying what I've been saying all along. Don't just dismiss it because they're talking about the sensitive topics that you don't agree with or don't want to associate yourself with or are uncomfortable with diving into. Talk about it, because once you agree to this, the rest will follow, because it will show that they've got public opinion and public support, and that's what you don't want. So you need to stand up to all of them and let them know, and let local regulators know, whatever, that this is not on. They cannot actively go in as a monopoly, as a cartel. Essentially, that's what they've become, right? A cartel, and tell me what I can and cannot do. That is within my freedom of doing what I want. But hey, NordVPN is going to be very happy about this, right? This is going to work in their favor. They're about to make bank.
This is a categorical rule that companies that have a complete monopoly inside of a market are exercising collectively. When companies act collectively and they behave in one specific way that is not, again, in accordance with the law, they are making their own laws and they are not behaving as in a free market. They are acting like a cartel. They're colluding.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying.
And more people need to know about it. And in my opinion, I think there needs to be laws against it.
I agree. See, one of the things that I was talking to my friend about is that, certain things need to be regulated, right? I think the way we are as a human species, even like when you're looking on Twitter, right? People say some of the horriblest things, the most toxic things, the nastiest things, right? Like telling you to delete your save file or your child's save file, and they wish and pray on this. They wouldn't say that if there was no anonymity. Regulation to actually make them put their real name and, information on there, they wouldn't say that for a second if they knew what was good for them. Because they'd be arrested within hours, right? Or you'd have that information, you'd be around there asking them to say it to your face. They probably wouldn't at that point. They'll probably be begging for mercy. But the point I'm making here is everyone cries about regulation and they don't want to be regulated. But at the end of the day, if you don't have regulation, people run rampant. They say what they want, do what they want, and think they can get away with what they want. And just like these two companies over here, no regulation means they make the rules. And if they make the rules without any regulation, you can bet your bottom dollar that it's not going to be in your interest ever. It's only going to be in their interest.
I wanted to make this video and talk to you guys about it because I think not enough people know. But now you know. Visa and MasterCard can suck a fucking dick, and anybody that supports them is already a dick sucker, so I don't need to say that. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and, I had to take my dad to a fucking, cancer appointment today. And so I was busy, which, by the way, oh my god. Just before I end the video, wow, no wonder they haven't cured cancer yet. This is the nicest fucking building I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god, I've been in Hilton hotels that are less classy than this cancer facility. Oh my god, They're never curing that shit. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, that's for another video. And maybe I'll have my actual tinfoil hat on for that one, unlike this video, which is unfortunately very, very real. Anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's the video. I think he's absolutely right in this. I think more people need to be aware. More people need to be pushing back, against Visa, MasterCard, and this collective shout. If you don't know, they've already protected their whole social media because they've had enough of a pushback, and they are being really heavily pushed back on, especially in regards to the censorship that they've bullied Visa and MasterCard. And Visa and MasterCard, they just don't want any bad optics. They're just doing what they want, what people want, and that's it. So I think, this video needed to come out. It's good that Asmongold did. He has a really big platform, so hopefully this gets the coverage it needs to. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And hey, if Asmon does ever see this video and reacts to it, it'll be interesting to see what he thinks of my opinions and thoughts and my reaction. But anyway, that's the video. Hopefully this has enlightened you in some way. It's brought the matter closer to home, and made you realize the consequences, the bigger picture of what this actually means in an unregulated world. That's it, folks. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. As always, remain legend.